Hi everybody. So we're going to be working on factor labeling today, and factor labeling is where we convert one unit to another but keep the value the same. For example, let's say 1 mile to be 5,280 feet. Okay, so we have it's the same distance, but it's two different. We have two different units right here. We've got it in miles, which happens to be 1, and we have it in feet, which happens to be 5,280. Well, factor label is the same thing. So we just take any value, and we take the starting unit and convert it to another unit. So let's just go ahead and start with number 1 right here. Okay, number 1 in our homework 1.3 factor label practice goes like this. We want to convert 420 grams we want to convert that to kilograms. That's a little question mark right there. Okay, how do we do that using the factor label method? Well, first of all, just write out your initial value, 420 grams. And as you probably recall, in the factor label method, what we do is we multiply it by 1, or that is by a fraction that equals 1. So let's add my multiply sign right there. Let's create a fraction that equals 1 and also does something else. We want this grams right here, we want that to go away and to convert to something else. So if this grams starts in the numerator right here, where's my, there we go, starts in the numerator, I need to put it in the denominator, right? So that it will eventually cancel out. So the question is, what kind of fraction can we create right here that will be equal to 1 but also have the function of canceling out grams and converting to something else? Well, we just happen to know the relationship between grams and kilograms. Kilo meaning 1,000, so therefore there must be 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Now look at this equation right here. Or I'm sorry, this fraction right here. Does that equal 1? That is the top the same value or the same amount as the bottom one? It is, because 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So this fraction is good. It equals 1, but it also has the purpose, and we created this specifically for this, has the purpose of canceling out grams and leaving us with a value that we want. We want it in kilograms. All that's left to do is simply multiply. You could probably do this in your head, but if we multiply across the top, 420 times 1 divided by 1,000, that equals 0.420 kilograms. And that's our conversion right there. Remember, we want to take the unit that we're converting from, create a fraction that has that in, well, either the numerator or denominator, but has that in the place where it can be canceled out. And then we have the equivalent amount in the unit that we do want to convert to in the either other side of the fraction, the top or the bottom. Let's try number 2 together as well. Okay? Let's see here. I'm going to minimize that a little bit and put it up there. Good. Okay, number 2. So number 2 goes like this. Convert 458 kilometers to meters. Kilometers to meters. All right, go ahead and write out your initial value, kilometers, and we're going to create a fraction that gets rid of the kilometers right here. Oops, I don't want that. Gets rid of kilometers and converts to something else. So in order to get rid of this, in order for this to cancel out, we need to put kilometers in the bottom right here. All right. Now remember, this fraction that we're going to create has to equal 1, so we don't change the original value. So it has to equal 1. So let's see, we want it to go to meters anyway. So do we know the relationship between kilometers and meters? Oops, that turned out to be blue. I think we do. Let's back that up a little bit. It's interesting. Sorry, I want that to be black. Kilometers and meters. I think we do. 1 kilometer, like we said before, is 1,000 meters. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we said 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams, but it's the same thing, just in meters. Okay. So is our equation right here equal to 1? Yes, because the numerator and the denominator are the same amount. It's the same measurement, just different units. Also, question, does our original unit here cancel out and become something else? It sure does, because it's in the numerator here and it's in the denominator right there. So we have a value where kilometers has canceled out. It has turned into meters, and all we need to do is multiply across. 458. That's red now. What's going on with that? Just erase that. I want that to be black. 458 times 1,000. That's easy. 458,000 divided by 1. Well, that doesn't do anything. So it's 458,000 meters. I think I'm going to box that right there. And this may seem easy to you because we're just doing one conversion right here. But this method, please follow this method by canceling out a value by putting it in the opposite side of a fraction and by making that fraction equal to 1. Use this method that way because we're going to get into a whole string of conversions where you're not going to just be able to do one at a time, but maybe several at a time. And doing this method will certainly help you out. I'm going to do one more together. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. I'm going to shrink that, put that up here, shrink that, put that right there. And we'll do one more. We're going to do number 3 together. Okay? Number 3. 5.97 liters to milliliters. You know what? That's let's skip to number 4 instead. All right? Number 4 I like better because it's not quite as cut and dry. 5.97 oh, I'm looking at 3. Sorry. Number 4. 3. Number 4. Let me start again. 89.37 centimeters equals how many millimeters? Alright. Now, you may be able to do this in your head by converting from centimeters to millimeters, but I'm going to do this kind of the long way just so you can see how this whole process works. 9.37 centimeters. Alright. Times, let's create a fraction that causes centimeters to cancel out, but also creates a fraction that's equal to 1. Okay, centimeters goes on the bottom right here. And I know the relationship between centimeters to meters. Centi means 1/100th. So there must be 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay. That's great. And so we have centimeters canceling out. But we haven't gone to the actual unit that we want. We've converted to meters. Because let's just pretend we didn't know the direct relationship between centimeters and millimeters. All right, we do know the relationship between centimeters and meters. Now what we can do is we can create another fraction. Another fraction being equal to 1 is going to have the effect of canceling out meters and converting to millimeters. Well, meters is starting in the numerator right here. So in our fraction, meters is going to go in the denominator. And we do happen to know the relationship between meters and millimeters just because of what the prefix means. 1 meter has 1,000 millimeters in it. Okay? So, let's look at our fraction right here. Does that fraction equal 1? It sure does because the same amount is on the top as is on the bottom right there. Also, does it have the function of canceling out what we did have and convert to a new unit? Yes, it does, because meters being on the top and the bottom right here cancel each other out. So, we now have millimeters, which is what we want. So, all we need to do is just multiply across. So it's going to be 89.37 times 1,000 divided by 100. And that's going to give us an answer in millimeters. And I get 893.7 millimeters. Now you're looking at that right now, and you're probably saying to yourself, "Well, I could have told you that, because if we have centimeters and converting to millimeters, well, there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, and so you're just going to move the decimal point one place to the right or to the left." That's true. But since you know that, now you know that this whole process works. So even if you wouldn't be able to do it in your head, you could use this process to do as many steps as you want to jump from unit to a new unit to a new unit, and finally have the unit that you finally want. So that's a little bit of factor label practice. I hope that's helpful to you. It's numbers 1, 2, and 4. The rest are going to be yours to do, but please contact me if you need any help with this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.